A Native American artist, musician, actor, writer, and poet from Lame Deer, Montana, says of his Northern Cheyenne tribe, "We are art." Could it be that the creative spirit of a people could heal the wounds of poverty? That's what he thinks. In tonight's feature, we interview the cultural ambassador of the Northern Cheyenne tribes. We continue our series on issues of poverty with Chris Rowland's plan to improve the economy for the reservation by focusing on his people's innate artistic talents. Reporter Kevin Mackey with tonight's feature and Art Mecca.
For every stroke brushed from paint to canvas, for every note composed a song, for every word written for poem, Chris Rowland tells his story.
We have been turned into generations of lost souls who linger aimlessly, hopelessly, forgetting about the future and the past. Yet we cling to the present, a dispossession, a segregation of hard workers subjected to nothingness. Kindred souls, well worthy of governmental recognition, but paying last dues as we slowly sink into the depths of hell. Listen to the shadow.
Listen to the shadow as it casts itself upon us, he writes. Feel its chill as it blacks out humanitarianism and goodness. Chris Rowland's words, as lovely as the melodies of his songs, as rich as the texture of his paintings, are rooted in the land he comes from, interpreted from the people he knows, translated onto canvas, into words, into music. The song you hear is from his band Blue Warrior. It is called Descent. Rowland was appointed as the cultural ambassador of his tribe in 2006, but he describes his role more as a liaison. He says he does not see himself as a political figure. He's an artist.
Art is the basis for life. That's that simple.
He grew up on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation in southeastern Montana, rugged, lonely, steep country with narrow valleys and grassy hills. It's home to about 5,000 Northern Cheyenne tribal members.
Growing up on the reservation was really hard because I saw people trying to get jobs in surrounding towns and surrounding areas, and there's nothing there. We're way out in the middle of nowhere. It's really hard to make ends meet. People are broke. Everybody is having a hard time on the res. It's like walking through sludge, trudging through the sludge of oppression.
Chris sold his first painting when he was a sophomore in high school. He designed pieces for the Bronx Zoo in New York City. There, his work is on display between the tiger and bear exhibitions. 2 of his paintings have been on display in the governor's office in the Montana State Capitol. Governor Schweitzer himself has 2 of the artist's landscape paintings. Chris Rowland plays the Indian flute. His band, Blue Warrior, melds ancient tribal Cheyenne sounds with more contemporary sound. In the 1980s, he played the part of White Cloud, a visionary character in the movie Pow Wow Highway, which was filmed partly on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation. It won the Filmmakers Trophy at the Sundance Film Festival. Chris himself has written a screenplay, which he says is in pre-production. He says he hopes it, too, can be filmed on the reservation. Rowland says the artistic achievements of his people date back millennia. He wants to enhance that innate gift to make the reservation richer. He says improving the Northern Cheyenne's community would benefit the entire state.
I would like to direct the younger generation to their culture and to their history, and that had everything to do with art. Art for us was utilitarian in nature. It was on everything. We were art.
We can train our young people, he says, to create all kinds of art. According to the 2000 census, while many eastern Montana rural communities are losing population, the Northern Cheyenne Reservation has seen an increase in population. Nearly 1/3 of its people is under 16 years of age. Chris Rowland sees a lot of artistic potential in those kids.
Teach kids how to work in the arts, sculpt, paint, bead. There's so many talented individuals out there. It's just unbelievable. Everybody gets art supplies, a new building, a place where you can have plays, you can jam with your band, guitars for the kids, drums, everything. An art center, an art mecca.
So who would pay for all this? The public, he says. He believes it's a good investment.
To help the young kids to get into every creative aspect. It's going to take a whole state to help us. People are coming from Germany, they're coming from Japan, they're coming from every country to come out and see the native culture. We're the most famous tribe in the world. There's subcultures in Germany. There's German people that speak better Cheyenne than Cheyennes.
He sees this mecca not just creating works of native art, but marketing it too.
Movies, art projects, and ways to sell that art, outlets. See, if I had somebody to help me with an outlet, I would have been much farther ahead in a lot of my ideas. But I had learned the hard way in order to teach. Art is going to attract those people that are attracted to our culture and our old way of life and who we are now today. And who we are today is very creative, wonderful human beings that have no outlet. And I'm going to be able to serve in that capacity, to be a conduit for any kind of creative endeavor. Just about every Cheyenne draws or does something creative.
There are a lot of Northern Cheyenne who have left the reservation. He says, let's bring those who want to come back home.
And a lot of them want to come back to the res and start something new. They want to come back and teach. Hopefully, I'll be able to find those people off the res and invite them back. That's one small contribution I can make for the Northern Cheyennes, to understand that the word healing does exist. There's been so much degradation, poverty, and humiliation. Listening to one song can put you back and to get you to start thinking about the healing.
The artist spent a number of years studying and painting in one of America's most prolific art communities, Santa Fe, New Mexico. He gained prominence for his haunting, colorful oils of natives in contemplation and in dance. He painted buffalo and horses and wild open landscapes. One of his teachers encouraged Chris to enhance his paintings by delving into the world of sound. If you were to set one of his paintings to this original Chris Rowland composition called Dreams May Come, you might see the figure in the painting come to life. But Chris came back from Santa Fe and saw that his people were hurting. He saw a lot of methamphetamine use, a lot of suffering.
I came back from Santa Fe, and I saw that this was a really big epidemic, and I had heard about it. People had told me, oh, yeah, they're doing so much meth over there now. People's teeth are falling out and getting way old before their time. And way before the whole meth campaign here with the commercials, that was happening on the res. Like 10 years before that, I got to see people just kind of rot away when I come back home.
The artist says he has known so many people whom have died on the reservation, young people. He has counted 25 friends or family members who have died tragically. He says it's too overwhelming to even talk about.
Devastating. I have to go back and go through my own healing process about that. Different kinds of accidents. There was car accidents, there was some stabbings, there was suicides. We have 3,100 relatives on the reservation, the Rowland family does. There's people that I don't even know that I've lost, that related to me. And my best friends are all gone. I'm developing new friendships. That's the beautiful part of getting past the pain and the hurt of losing all those people, is that I can move on and develop new friendships and people who want to create and people who need help in that area of art.
He points to one of his paintings on the wall, the rhythmic figure of a boy in full dance regalia, vibrant with life, with movement. It's a grass dancer.
Yeah, this is Taryn. He was actually a cousin of mine, and he passed away a couple of years ago in a kind of a freak car accident. He was just amazing. I mean, he's an amazing dancer, and I had to just get pictures of him. And in this picture, he's about 10 years old.
Can you define poverty of spirit for me, I ask Chris. Can you define it for me, he asks. Once you answer that question, he says, I'll do my version.
Well, when you come up with a good answer, then I'll come up with my answer. Because that's a very deep question. Poverty of spirit. Obviously, it involves lack of motivation, but I think it really does have to do with whether or not a person has the lights turned on or turned off, whether a person is in the shadow or is in the sunlight. If a person puts themselves in a shadow by their own choice, then that can lead to poverty of spirit, I believe, and a death of the creative force. I'm still poverty-stricken from time to time. I've had cashy days, and then I've had some desperate times where I'm just praying that the check is going to come in and the rent's going to get paid. I'm a starving artist. I'm not concerned with that, though, because I always am fed. The Creator takes care of me.
Hi, nice to meet you. Your paintings are beautiful.
So are you an art collector?
Sometimes.
The artist greets the public at an art opening in Hamilton, where his paintings are on display one evening with hors d'oeuvres and fine wine. Chris was a hit.
No one is ever looking directly at you. If you see that, the eyes are looking in the distance there, downcast, beautiful greens. Not at all shy about his colors.
Big Medicine's Prayer. It's a painting about personal prayer and growth. The four directions and the feathers.
It's beautiful. It is really beautiful.
There's a painting called Warlord. It is of a Northern Cheyenne on horseback in headdress. There's Autumn Drum Song. Chris calls it a meditative work. It's of a brave preparing to sing. The starving artist is starving a little less these days. Chris Rowland wants to spread his good fortune on the land and people who painted him. For Montana Evening Edition, I'm Kevin Mackey with Chris Rowland, the artist from Lame Deer, Montana.
In tonight's forecast, west of the